Fabio Restrepo's death and the rise of a new drug lord grabbed the country's full attention. The Administrative Department of Security, known as DAS, couldn't ignore this and soon began to watch Pablo Escobar very closely. Determined to bring him down, police officers who had been close to Restrepo set traps, hoping to catch Escobar in the act. In 1976, a DAS officer arrested Pablo after finding 39 kilograms of cocaine hidden in the spare tire of his car. As soon as he was arrested, Pablo, ever the smooth talker, tried to bribe the officer, offering him a large amount of money. But the officer wasn't swayed. He refused the bribe and put Pablo in jail. Behind the bars, Pablo set his sights on the judge handling his case. He tried everything he could, using his men to intimidate and negotiate, but the judge refused to be corrupted. For a moment, it seemed like Pablo had failed. But Pablo was not a man who gave up easily. He realized he needed to call in a favor from his allies in politics. 2 weeks later, the judge was transferred to another area, and a new judge took over Pablo's case. With a generous bribe, the new judge agreed to Pablo's terms. And within a month, Pablo came out of jail. Soon after he came out of jail, Pablo didn't go back to business as usual. He didn't seek out those who had helped him, or even his loyal men. Instead, he went straight to the DAS officer who had arrested him. And there, he didn't say anything. His gun did the talking. From that day on, the name Pablo Escobar struck fear into the hearts of everyone in Colombia, police officers, politicians, and even the most powerful figures in the country. While Fabio Restrepo had once dealt in 80 kilograms of cocaine, Pablo was now handling 19,000 kilograms. Many who dared to stand against him lost their lives, and soon no one was willing to stand in his way. He believed that someday cocaine would be legalized, so he pursued his smuggling business with a fierce determination. As cocaine use skyrocketed in the United States, Pablo knew it was time to expand. He needed a partner who could help him scale up his business. He soon learned he wasn't the only one moving massive amounts of cocaine to America. There was someone else, someone with a significant operation of their own. That too in a large amount. After a thorough investigation, Pablo discovered the mastermind behind the competition. There was an island called Norman's Cay in the North Atlantic Ocean, and most of the island was controlled by a single person, Carlos Leda. Carlos used the island as a hub for trafficking cocaine into the United States. Seeing an opportunity, Pablo reached out to Carlos, and after a meeting, the two formed a powerful partnership. Together, they revolutionized the cocaine trade. What was once smuggled by sea was now flown by air. Large planes would deliver Pablo's cocaine to Norman's Cay, where smaller planes would then transport it to America. They flew at specific altitudes to avoid detection by US Air Force radar. At the peak of their operation, they were moving around 300 kilograms of cocaine into the US every single flight. The money rolled in, and Pablo, now richer than ever. He built a house in a huge estate in Colombia, covering 22 square kilometers. It had everything: a zoo filled with exotic animals, a garage with luxury cars, and a mansion fit for a king. Pablo and Carlos then expanded their business to Europe, where the profits got even higher. At their peak, they were making nearly $60 million a day, but with great wealth came great problems. This money could not be put in the bank, and laundering that much cash was impossible. He was running out of places to store his money, and he knew that his dream had come true, but it had also become a burden. Then came a new threat that Pablo hadn't foreseen. The United States requested that criminals who had committed crimes on American soil be deported from other countries to face justice. In 1977, the Colombian government agreed, and the law was set to take effect in 1982. This was a huge risk for Pablo and his empire. He knew he had to act fast to protect himself. So, Pablo made a new plan. He started using his vast fortune to fund public works across Colombia, building roads, supplying electricity, constructing football stadiums, and even providing homes for the poor. He even paid off the Colombian government's debt, and his philanthropic acts turned him into a hero for many Colombians. He became a Robin Hood figure, a man of the people. By making a good face to the people of Colombia, Pablo decided to enter politics, believing it would offer him more protection and control. With his money and influence, he became a member of the Colombian Liberal Party and soon became a leading figure. His speeches were fiery and passionate, often attacking the government for agreeing to deport Colombians to the United States. But not everyone was okay with his rise to power. Many in the government saw him as nothing more than a drug lord, hiding behind a mask of respectability. Rodrigo Lara Bonilla, a lawyer and politician, determined to expose Pablo for who he really was. Rodrigo teamed up with the director of a newspaper, El Espectador, and they published a series of articles detailing Pablo's crimes and corruption. The stories caused a sensation, and soon other newspapers were following. Feeling the pressure, Pablo did what he always did when cornered. He struck back with violence. He killed Rodrigo, but this time his usual tactics backfired. Even without concrete evidence, everyone knew who was behind the killing. The members of the parliament wanted Pablo to be thrown out, so they called for a new election, and this time Pablo lost. In 1984, he resigned from his position in parliament, but the government didn't let up. They continued to go behind him, determined to bring him to justice. In a shocking move, Pablo surrendered to the Colombian authorities. He confessed to his crimes and expressed his willingness to accept whatever punishment they decided. Even his closest allies were stunned.